The 3 steps: know yourself, accept yourself, and become the creator. First, taught by Ra in The Law of One, and further popularized by Bentinho Massaro. And I have found this to be so direct, the most direct. In spiritual awakening, there is nothing as precise and as simple as this. So I'm really excited for this 3-step to become more and more popular as the direct path. So first is knowing yourself. And it can be easily thought of as analyzing your frames of life and behavior patterns, but like a scientist with no bias. Things like where you go, what you do, how you use your phone, time, money. And so, similarly to these 30 or 60 frames per second motion pictures, movies, films, video games, we're going to treat our lives similarly, where we see these frames. And to keep it simple, we can do 1 per second. And let's say that in one of the seconds, there's a specific thought that's coming up. And then in the next frame is showing up a different thought. And so what we're doing is we're becoming aware. What is showing up in that frame? Now, what's showing up in the next frame? Because if you become aware that you had a thought that was angry or depressed, you can further create a distinction for yourself on how to be not angry or not depressed, but instead be happy, be peaceful. So this is really important, is being a scientist with no bias as you analyze your frames, because it's very easy to have a series of frames that you're not very proud of, and because of that, sort of manipulating what happened and kind of lying to yourself. And so it's really important to be like a scientist with no bias in this process. And so as you analyze your behavior patterns, especially where you go, what you do, how you use your phone, time, money, if you look at your calendar and you're doing things that are trying to extract peace and happiness from reality, that I will be happy when I attend this concert or when I go to this club with friends and get drunk, that now you're becoming more aware of what am I putting in my calendar? How am I spending my time? How am I spending my money? Richard Condon does a really good job at saying that if you look at where you allocate your primary resources of your checkbook, so your wallet, so your money, and also your schedule, so your time, if you look at those two places, you can understand what you've committed your life to, what you're orienting your entire life around. And so it's going to be really important for you to embody more and more of this non-biased scientist approach to your frames of life, to see honestly, what am I aligning my life towards? Am I aligning my life towards going out on the weekends? Am I aligning my life towards reading books? Am I aligning my life towards becoming closer friends with people that can actually mentor me and teach me and help me become more wise? How are you using your phone? If you look at a period of time that you're using your phone, how are you using it? Are you using it for trying to seek validation and worthiness by making posts that then you hope that people will look at you and like your post and it'll bring you validation? Are you using your phone to study? Are you using it as an educational technology? Are you using it to communicate with other people that you're creating empowering technologies with? So this first one is all about knowing yourself. It's all about analyzing your frames of life, understanding your behavior patterns, and then creating these distinctions. So as you learn what your life is aligned to, you're tapping into this question of who am I and why am I here more and more. So you're unfreezing your will. Your will has been frozen, and so you're running these scripts and you're not aware of your frames of life and your behavior patterns. So now what you're doing is you're unfreezing your will by asking yourself, who am I? Why am I here? What is my life aligned to? Let me analyze my frames of my movie. And let me begin creating distinctions for myself. If I'm experiencing suffering or anger or depression or trying to seek peace and happiness externally, how can I create a distinction in my frames to not be suffering or angry or depressed, but rather peaceful or joyful? How can I not spend my time and money on going out trying to get validation and worthiness and peace and happiness, but how can I be peace and happiness? How can I be 100% worthy and free and valid off the bat? And growth happens in chaos, meaning that being stagnant or static with these frames is going to perpetuate the same scripts that have been going on. So only by truly scientifically analyzing the behavior pattern and then going like, nope, I'm not going to be angry, or I'm not going to be depressed. I'm going to be peaceful and joyful now, creating a distinction and then turning and rearranging your life through chaos to this growth of peace and joy is how to actually be able to unfreeze your will, know yourself more deeply, and then realign your life to something that is more whole, more divine, more peace and joy, more you, more truly you. And the Hawthorne effect is a very important way of looking at this. And the general idea there is that if you're being watched, you're more likely to change your behavior. So for example, if while you've looked at this frame of life and behavior pattern, you've created a difference between you suffering and you being joyful, and now it comes up again where it's a big chain of depressive suffering thinking. Now, if there's somebody also present in the room with you that is watching you, and that you've told them that, hey, I'm going to catch myself in these chains of depressive thought, and I'm going to take a breath and relax away the tension of those depressive thoughts, that now you're more likely to be holding yourself accountable because there's another observer, there's another witness watching you. And so you have to train yourself with this Hawthorne effect so that you hold yourself accountable. If you've made a declaration about knowing yourself, about switching from suffering to peace and joy, you treat it like a true declaration. And you work yourself to changing your state of being away from the suffering and towards the peace and joy. And if this requires you to have a friend nearby that you trust to be an accountability partner, and you're an accountability partner for them, then do it. Do what is needed for you to more scientifically, non-biasedly analyze your frames of life and your behavioral patterns so that you can unfreeze your will and become more sovereign in making any state changes to your being that move you towards becoming the creator and shift you away from being just a contracted person. So that covers knowing yourself, and accepting yourself is about dissolving subconscious lack beliefs of unworthiness, of seeking validation, by radical acceptance of those subconscious lack beliefs. And that enables the shift from person to becoming the creator, to the very God's son that's always already whole and free. So Mark Heinen has a really good program called Accept Yourself that walks people through this process, identifying what is the core lack belief that we've picked up and put into our subconscious at a young age that we now are unconsciously living into life through all of our behavior patterns and actions. So if you look back when you were 5 years old, when you were 10 years old, something may have happened to you, almost certainly, that contracted your identity. It made you feel like you weren't worthy. It made you feel like you weren't already loved, that you weren't already free, that you weren't already valid, but that you had to go and seek worthiness, and you had to seek validation, and you had to seek money and fame and clout and material possessions, and only a spouse could make you happy. Only having kids could make you happy. Only a big position at a company could make you happy. Only a house in the suburbs could make you happy. And so we pick this up in our youth, whether through our family or through society at large, creating these subconscious lack beliefs. And so through accepting ourselves, what we do is we radically accept that when we were 5 or 10 years old or 15 years old, and when we picked up this lack belief of I am unworthy, that what we're doing is we're radically loving and accepting the fact that when we were 15 that we picked that up. Because what happens is when you lovingly accept the fact that you picked up that lack belief, you're shining the light of awareness on it. Whereas if you don't look at it, if you don't shine the light of awareness at it, it's going to perpetually run your life subconsciously. But if you do shine the light of awareness on it, what will happen is the subconscious lack belief will be loved and accepted radically and completely, and it will dissolve, and you will transcend that lower frequency chess game. It's like you're playing chess This is a great analogy popularized by Bentinho Massaro, where you're playing chess against these core lack beliefs. And instead of playing chess against I am unworthy, with that feeling trying to extract worthiness from manifestation, from creation, when you tip over the king and surrender and admit defeat to that lower frequency subconscious lack belief that we've been carrying for years or decades, it enables you to shift from that personhood to the God state, to this very God Son, to this very always already whole and full state of love and completeness. And we begin to radiate that out. And so this is another core pillar. Along with knowing yourself is accepting yourself. So you're going to know these frames of life, and you're becoming more and more vigilant with your behavior patterns, and you're becoming more aware of any subconscious lack beliefs, and you're transcending those through love and acceptance so that you can merge more and more with the kingdom of God. That is the radiant sunlight that has been present the whole time, but that has been obfuscated by a cloudy perception. And that's what enables this last pillar of becoming the creator. A full recognition of union with the God Son, with infinity, seeing oneness and unity everywhere, radiating pure service, pure shepherding energy. And so you'll really clearly see the distinction, right? It's really important in our frames of life to continue seeing the distinction of, am I still coming from my subconscious lack belief, or am I coming from the state of already being whole, of the God realized state of sunlight radiance, of pure service and shepherding energy? And so over time, what we do is we become more and more aligned with coming from the God state and less of coming from the core lack belief, subconscious conditioned person state. And so that's more and more of the full union with God, the full union with infinity, with oneness. And so that's when you deepen your relationship with the decentralization of your identity. Because there is individuation, but there's no separation. And so it's important to remember, as you decentralize your identity from all of this subconscious conditioning, and you merge more and more with the universe, you merge more and more with life itself as your identity, you recognize more and more your truest essence is absolute infinity, and that the universe is a manifestation of possibility, and that it is but one infinite creator endlessly expressing itself, and that you're giving the entire universe your love, like the sunlight. And you're giving it all of your energy as pure service, pure shepherding energy of awakening the creation to its true nature as the one infinite creator. And so these are the steps. This is the most direct process to unite with the most awakened energy of recognizing yourself as the creator. The shift is from being a victim to being the creator. It's shifting from being a person to being God. It's the shift from separation to unity and oneness. And the shift is most simple through these three steps of knowing yourself, accepting yourself, becoming the creator. Knowing your frames of life, knowing your behavioral patterns, creating these distinctions so that you can truly see, who am I? Why am I here? What am I aligning my life to? And how can I experience more peace and joy and more actualization and less suffering? And accepting all of these subconscious lack beliefs that we've picked up, giving them the love and acceptance that then enables them to dissolve and for us to transcend them to this God state, the always already whole state of pure love, pure service, pure shepherding, pure infinity, pure oneness, pure unity. And that's the most direct path. And so I'm really excited about how this most direct path will land in your hearts. So do let me know where you're at in the process in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you. If the video brought you value, give it a like, subscribe to the channel, share the video with other people that you know this would profoundly impact. Read The Law of One. Also, Bentinho Massaro's content is fantastic. You can watch a lot of the Global Enlightenment Retreat or the Mirror Talks podcast, which are very popular on his channel. Also, the No Limit Society is a great organization that's focused around this as well, that I'm a part of and have been learning and growing so much with. Mark Hainen's program called Accept Yourself is fantastic, that I've been through and that I would highly recommend you guys to go through as well, to really radically love and accept those core subconscious lack beliefs that then enable you to shift to the God state, to infinity, to oneness. And those links are all in the bio below as well. I'm pumped for this to become more popular. The 3 steps: know yourself, accept yourself, become the creator, and ignite global awakening, baby, from a place of pure service, non-attached, shepherding, because you know your truest nature. And you've surrendered the chess game of being a person with subconscious core lack beliefs. And you've become more vigilant with analyzing your frames of life and your behavioral patterns, and you feel so much more sovereign, so much more empowered. You feel so much more of the shift from person to God, from separation to unity, from victim to creator, from finity to infinity. You feel more united with the true nature of reality. Thank you. Infinite love.